Welcome to yet another edition of the Wisdom Day with Dr. Anil Bajpai, Chief Operating Officer, Prestige Education Foundation, Indore. What do we have here today? You've been seeing me week after week talking about different aspects of youth life and sometimes even adult life. Let's do something very different today. We will be interactive. I will speak less and you will speak more. And we have a gang of young boys and girls here who have a huge future ahead of them. Excellent future. Many of these tomorrow you will see as great artists, cinematographers. You will have people who will have studios. You will have actors. And you will have many more who will be in the media line. Let me get back to the thought that I had in mind. All of you are going to get into interacting with somebody more senior with you in some time to come. A year from now, a couple of years from now, you will face interviews. You will face that moment when you will have to prove yourself to somebody who doesn't know you. How do you do that? What is it that you will need to know? How do you prepare for that? I have been on the other end, for now almost 40 years, interviewing people, maybe 100,000 of you. And each time, I go back with a very, very heavy heart, because out of 10 people, I only find one suitable. Why is that so? That is because we do not pay enough attention to preparing for an interview. We think that the 3 years that we've studied has given us enough and more to be able to walk through an interview panel. But that is not so. That is not so. You cannot do anything without preparation. Let me ask you a question. Muskan, can you cook? Give her a mic, please.
I'm living in Flatna, so I cook.
So Muskan cooks her own food every day. How do you cook the food?
First of all, I think, what should I?
She first thinks what to eat, and then
Prepares all the.
Here is the key word. Prepare all the ingredients together, put them into a pot, mix them together, because she doesn't want to do too many things. She mixes everything together, boils it, and whatever is there, she eats it up. But she prepares. Giving an interview is like cooking. Giving an interview is like driving. Giving an interview is like doing something important in your life. Giving an interview is like getting married. Of course, none of you have that experience, so you will not understand that. Let me ask Yashwardhan Singh. Yashwardhan, do you have a girlfriend? And this young man wants to be an actor and he doesn't have a girlfriend. Well, he's telling lies, never mind. Any of you wants to volunteer to tell me, when you go on a date, how do you go? How do you prepare? What do you do? Don't you wear your best clothes? Don't you put on the best possible makeup? Even boys stand before the mirror for half an hour before leaving home, because the hair must be all in place. There should be nothing out of place in your clothing. Your attire should be perfect. Shoes should be polished. Because you want to go and make an impression on the other person. And that is true for the girls also. Am I right? Would you not go completely dressed in the most fine clothing that you have if you were to go and meet the future husband of yours? नहीं देखा है तुमने? सिनेमा में होता है ना that this groom's party has come to the bride's home to look at the girl, and the girl comes in the best clothes with a tray in her hand, 2 cups of tea on it, and the hands are shaking, trembling, and she drops the tea. But she's prepared. Giving an interview is like going and meeting your girlfriend or boyfriend. Why am I saying so? Because in an interview also you are wanting to make the best impression on the person who is going to interact with you. How do you prepare? Now let's come back to the basics. How many of you read the newspaper? Very few. Here is one man. What's your name, son?
Ashwajit.
Ashwajit. हे भगवान, ऐसे ऐसे नाम सुनने को मिल रहे हैं भाई. Ashwajit, what was there in the headlines of today's newspaper?
About how some of the players are refusing to take a stand on the Black Lives Matter.
So he is very, very keen, very interested in the sports page. So he immediately turns to page number 9 and he looks there and he says, here are people who are saying we don't want to be associated with this black and white thing, and the South African players have done all sorts of funny things. He's read that. But he forgot the front page. The front page said, what did it say? It said, Supreme Court has to decide upon the parameters of declaring EWS and OBC eligible for different benefits. That's the hot news. So what I want to tell you is, don't only read page 3 where there are murders and suicides, or page 9 where there is sports, but also read page 1 and page 5 and page 7 and page 6, because that's the editorial page. Why am I saying this? Because that gentleman who will be sitting across the table will have read the newspaper in the morning, and he will want to discuss something about it. He will want to know if you are aware of anything such as that. So, make it a habit to read the newspaper, and on the day of the interview, please read it from cover to cover. Page 1 to page 12. Read it completely. All right? You understand this? What next? Appearance. The millennials, the modern thought process, companies like Google have done away with formal attire. So if you are an engineer or a manager working for Google, you can walk into your office in your shorts, in your night clothes, in whatever you want to wear. Because they say, we're interested in output and performance, and we don't care what you look like. But if the senior manager from Google comes to interview you, and you land up there in shorts, chances are that you will not be selected. So, think of your attire, should be properly ironed, everything in place, clean, neat, washed, and suitable for the occasion. What is the biggest mistake that most of you all make, especially the boys? Tie. All right. Here's one answer that the mistake is tie. Either they don't wear the tie or they don't wear it properly. Okay. So get some expert to tie the knot for you, because I'm sure you can't do it yourself at this stage of life. स्कूल में तो वो बनी बनाई होती थी ना, टांग लेते थे. The second biggest mistake that you make. Yes, your shoes are not polished. That is one. But have you noticed that 9 out of 10 boys will have their socks not matching any attire? वो जो मर्जी आया वो उठा के पहन लिया. Got it? अब देख लो अपने. You will find that this is the biggest mistake, and it is the most visible mistake. Because gone are the days when you wore trousers like me, where you hide the socks. These days, you are all ready for floods. You wear your trousers at least a couple of inches, and your socks are visible. And if your socks are visible, and if they don't match your attire, you are in big trouble, because that immediately puts you off. And when you walk in, the interviewer has his eyes straight on your shoes and your socks. पहली नजर वहां पड़ती है. And this is one clue that you must always remember, that your socks should match, your footwear and your socks should match the rest of the attire. You can't wear a suit and sports clothes. You understand? You have a tuxedo and you're wearing sports shoes. That's not done. You have a tuxedo, you have leather shoes, properly polished, and matching socks. That's part of the attire. If you have a beard, keep it properly trimmed, groomed. Otherwise, clean shave. Shave a couple of hours before you go for the interview. Why am I telling you all this? Because I have seen, and I have actually selected or rejected basis the vibration somebody gives me. And here is one clean-cut guy who comes absolutely properly attired, properly groomed, properly shaved. I feel so happy. I say, yeah, yes, I want this guy in my team. He's going to make everybody feel happy. But here is somebody, shaggy hair, unkempt beard, shirt hanging out of his trousers, white socks on blue trousers, and black shoes or brown shoes or some shit like that. What would I say? I don't want this guy. He's going to make my team completely chaotic. That's the next thing. Then one question that every one of you will be asked in your interviews wherever you go: tell me something about yourself. Have you been asked these questions before? This is one question which has the same answer all your life. It doesn't change. The answer to this question only keeps adding with your qualifications and experience. But the basics never change. So please prepare an answer for this, and each individual have a different answer. And prepare the answer and mug it up. Mug it up. Rehearse it 20 times. आपको अंग्रेजी बोलनी नहीं आती है, फिर भी आप अंग्रेजी में इसको practice करिए. Because this is the question which decides whether to ask you the next question. अगर आपने इसका जवाब ठीक से नहीं दिया तो अगला सवाल आता ही नहीं है. People will say, अरे इसको तो क्या रखना, छोड़ो इसको. But if you have answered this question, and how would you answer this question? It's like this, it goes like this. Good morning, sir. My name is Dr. Anil Bajpai. I am about 62 years old now, and I have a background in many subjects. I studied physics, I studied engineering, and I studied management. I'm currently working at the Prestige Education Foundation in Indore. My father was in the Indian Air Force, and therefore I have studied all across India in multiple schools and colleges. I have lived across 27 cities of this country. My major experiences have been in the area of semiconductors and telecom, and of course, in the recent times, education. In the areas of telecom, I was responsible for the Central India and Assam and Northeast. And I'm very proud to have been part of the revolution that has seen India grow from nothing to the largest telecom country in the world. My strengths are relationships, distribution and management and sales, direct selling, and of course, overall management. इतना बता दिया, ठीक है? My answer comes to a close. The other fellow, what does he need to answer? Now ask. उसके पास कोई सवाल ही नहीं होता है. He may ask me a question. Say, अच्छा, so you were in telecom. You were saying that you did sales and marketing. All right. So tell me, from your experience, where did you enjoy the most? Then I'll tell him. Very early in my life, I was at a location called Jabalpur. And in Jabalpur, it was a very, very, very chaotic city. There were all kind of goons and all kind of people there who would not allow any development to take place. What did I do? I befriended them. I made them a part of my movement. And eventually, I set up the operation. And today, Jabalpur is one of the best cities in this state as far as telecom is concerned. Answer this question. What will be the next question? After he is satisfied कि हाँ ठीक है, इनको तो आता है, जो ये बोल रहे हैं वो सही बोल रहे हैं, और जो बोल रहे हैं उसको बैकअप कर सकते हैं. अगला सवाल क्या होगा? अगला सवाल ये होगा, so what do you bring to the table? Or what would you want to do in my organization? For which you should have studied everything about the company that you're going to go and interview for. You should have seen where you will fit in. You should have seen which role would be the best for you. And then you tell him about that. Okay, sir, I want to be a management trainee in the area of finance, for instance. He'll ask you a couple of questions on finance which you should be able to answer because you have prepared for it. And then comes the last question. What do you expect from us? What kind of salary are you looking for? The most common answer that people give is, sir, whatever are the rules of the company. That's the worst answer anybody can give. Because you don't have a value for yourself. You are just getting valued by somebody else. You must have a prepared value for yourself. You must know what you're looking for. You must be confident about what you need. And you say, yes, sir, at my level, the institution that I have studied from and my peer group, I think I should be offered 8 lakh rupees gross annual package. This will make the other person feel, yes, this person is confident. He knows what he wants. Chances are, he will negotiate and say, कि 7.5 पे आ जाओ. Which is okay. Now, there was a question that somebody raised. What's your name? Priyank. Priyansh. So Priyansh had raised an issue that all these things you're telling us is fine. We've heard, we've understood, we'll prepare, we'll do everything. But where do we buy that confidence to be able to answer? Where do I get that 2 kilo का confidence? कौन सी बाजार में मिलता है? यही सवाल था ना आपका?
Yes.
अनफॉर्चुनेटली कॉन्फिडेंस ना किलो में ना मीटर में किसी में नहीं आप नाप सकते हो. जब कोई चीज को नाप नहीं सकते हो तो उसको खरीद नहीं सकते. So you have to develop this. How do you develop this? I'll tell you a little story about somebody. There was a gentleman called oh my God, forgetting the name. One of the greatest orators of all time. He was a Greek gentleman. It'll come back to me. And he used to stammer. He used to stammer, and people would laugh at him. So what did he do? Demosthenes. No, Demosthenes is that. Yeah, Demosthenes. Demosthenes was the name. He would stammer, and people would laugh at him. So he promised to himself that I will improve. So what did he do? He shaved half his head so that he would be ashamed to go into public. And he would go into a cave by the seaside and deliver long speeches to himself, shouting against the sea, trying to drown the noise of the sea. And what happened? Few years later, Demosthenes became the best orator of the world. Even today, we acknowledge Demosthenes as the best orator. Closer home, when I was about 16 years old, just entered college. For me, 3 was a crowd. So I could only converse 1-to-1. कोई तीसरा आ जाता था, मेरा मुंह बंद. कहीं स्टेज पे खड़ा कर दिया तो जय हिंद. I just couldn't speak. Do you believe that? And today I can lecture without preparation. Why? Because I promised to myself that I will change this. So all of you have to promise to yourself that you will get confident, you will change yourself, you will get that fear out of your head, throw it away, and improve. Got it? So I think we have overshot our time that we had thought about. So I will leave the last 1 to 2 minutes for you to have any questions that you may. Anybody? Any question? Yes, beta. Tell me your name first.
Sneha Shukla.
Neha.
Sneha.
Sneha. All right.
Sir, how to tackle with negative thoughts when you have failed in something that you thought you would succeed?
Okay. How to tackle negative thoughts? Benjo. And this is something that you had also asked for, positivity, right? How do you tackle negative thoughts? What is negative? Negative is what drives you to despair. Negative is what you don't like. Negative is what pulls you down. So the first thing is recognize those negative thoughts. Once you have recognized those negative thoughts, and yes, a setback, a failure, a tragedy will give rise to this. It is natural. Do not banish them immediately. So suppose you fail in an exam. Your immediate thought will be, I'm good for nothing. Next thought will be, मैं ट्रेन लेके कहीं चली जाती हूँ. Third thought will be, let me commit suicide. Keep these thoughts away. The पहला वाला चीज था, I am good for nothing. उसके लिए my recommendation to you all is to read the biographies of very successful people, including somebody like Mahatma Gandhi, who failed miserably multiple times before they succeeded. All right? So once you see that, then you will realize that this is only one passing phase. I failed this exam doesn't mean anything. महात्मा गांधी की वो कहानी सबको पता है ना, The inspector of schools came to school when he was studying in Rajkot, and it was a brilliant school. His dad was very rich, sent him to that school. But Mahatma Gandhi was not a bright student. In fact, he was a failure. So the teacher said, the inspector said, spell on the board, write down the spelling of kettle. And what did the young Mohandas do? He went to the board and he started to write. He wrote K, E, and then he stopped. The school teacher, who was under inspection, hinted slowly that TTLE. Mahatma Gandhi did not listen to that. He went on to write KETEL. And the school was failed because the student didn't know how to spell kettle. But the honesty of that man, he did not cheat, which could have been very easily done, but he went through the failure. Mahatma Gandhi went to England. He became a barrister. He just didn't get any cases. He failed. He came back to India. He tried to do law. He didn't succeed. He failed. He went to South Africa. And there he became Mahatma Gandhi. He was almost 40 years old before he met his first success. So, do not get overcome by these small negative thoughts, because every successful person has been through hundreds of failures before he became successful. Did that answer your question partly? How to drive away evil thoughts? Evil thoughts will still come. There are 2 or 3 things that drive them away. 1, music. 2, hobby. Build a hobby. I'm sure many of you have a hobby or the other, but some of you don't have any hobby. Build a hobby. Somebody may want to do, say, gardening. You may want to do stamp collection. Somebody who has coins collection. There are all kinds of hobbies. Build a hobby, immerse yourself in hobby that will only give you positivity. Alright? And when you spot somebody who is injecting negativity into you, stay away from them. Banish them, just like bad thoughts. There will be people in society whose main job is to spread negativity. होता है ना? Politics में बहुत होता है. One party, other party, one party tries to defame the other party, वगैरह वगैरह. Ignore all that. All right. One last question, if anybody has.
Sir, when you entered into the room, so you said that I'm not prepared for today's lecture. So I just want to ask that sometimes it happens that opportunity is in front of us and we are not prepared. So how can we handle it?
Excellent question. That here comes an opportunity, but I don't have the wherewithal to achieve. I do not know what to do with it. Let me tell you this. Opportunity gives you time always. Opportunity gives you time. And when an opportunity strikes, for instance, today there is something called cryptocurrency. And you don't know anything about cryptocurrency. A friend of yours tells you, this is an opportunity to make money. You say, yes, I think so, but I don't know anything about it. This opportunity will keep repeating itself and keep coming back to you. You have to just prepare yourself. So what I'm trying to tell you is, वो कहानी पुरानी थी कि opportunity does not repeat itself. Opportunity will keep coming back to you. You have to keep on updating yourself to be able to meet the challenge. Yes, there will be many places where there's an opportunity, but you're not qualified for it. Correct? Today, there will be a job, say, for instance, in Times of India, for a sub-editor. But you're not a graduate yet. And you don't know whether the job will be there next year or not. You're going to graduate next year. Don't despair. Next year, if it's not Times of India, it will be somebody else. But believe me, the day you were born, your career was written. You only have to discover it. Get my point? Your career has been written the day you were born. But the only fact is that you can't discover it now. You will discover it as you go along. So, all the best. Have a great time. And thank you. So, this is Dr. Anil Bajpai signing off from the Wisdom Day. And see you again next Monday. Thank you.